First story. How do I get over cheating? My girlfriend has been sexting other guy throughout our relationship. My girlfriend, 31F, of 2 years, and I, 31M, moved in together to a different city at the beginning of this year. I had an unpleasant living situation which I got out of, and he worked in the same city as me, so it was a no-brainer. At the very beginning of our relationship, whenever she was in my place, she would actively text her other ex who used to have a thing for her. The messages were mostly focused on her mental health and how she was not coping very well. And whenever she did not feel 100%, she would start messaging him for support. I said it had to stop and I did not feel comfortable with them being in touch. When we were moving in together, I had a gut feeling she was emotionally disconnected from me. In June, I snooped through her social media. I know I shouldn't have, but the gut feeling was there. It turned out she was actively sexting her ex, another ex, throughout our relationship. From the messages, I discovered they actually were seeing each other for duck. She used to live close to him, so he would often invite her to come over. I was not aware they had any sort of relationship. She always said that she was not seeing anyone months before we started dating. This was a lie, as I also found several videos of them having sex just after we started dating. It did appear from their messages he did not want to entertain anything sexual with her. It was just her prodding. I also found out she was sending his money whenever he asked her. She could see I wasn't being myself. Initially, I was not going to confront her about it, but move out and send her the screenshots once I went through with my plan. However, I confronted her about it. I lied, saying someone sent me the messages. Not great, but I was not exactly thinking straight. And she denied everything and even said that she had not seen her any ex in years, and she never actively sought to see them when we were together, which was a lie. She trickle-truthed me, and now says they were actually very good friends, and she sent a sexually explicit message to him occasionally to feel validated. She began blaming me for it, saying it was because I was not validating her enough, paid her enough attention, and she does not feel wanted or appreciated. She blamed it on her childhood and her stepdad passing. You get the gist. I told her to cut all contact with her ex, which she did. It hurt a lot and crossed a lot of my boundaries and values, but she swore she had not slept with him or anyone. She recognizes it as cheating. I have been hurting ever since. Last month I discovered she had Snapchat, and when I confronted her about it, I noticed that she would use it when she was away from home, for example at work, because she was active on it, but would delete the app just before she got home. I asked her about it and she denied having it. When I pointed out I could see her be active on it, she blocked me. She said the Snapchat only for work, so she got to install it working hours, then deleted after work. Then she shouted in my face it was because she felt I was controlling her, and again blame shifted. She said she wanted to rebuild trust and I could have access to her phone. I snooped again one evening recently and found she had been texting more guys. She deleted a lot of conversations, so I think this was an empty gesture, but the volume was so grand she did not manage to delete all of them. I discovered more messages between her and other guy, as recent as April this year. The one she wanted to hook up in April lives close to where we live now, and she said they could meet up again, but he was not interested. She did not mention she lived with me, and didn't even mention she was in a relationship. A lot of these guys had sex with her previously, and it appears that she was looking to fish and see who is willing to hook up again. Moreover, they seemed convinced that she is single. I have never met any of these guys. She tells me this means nothing to her, and she never had an intention to go ahead with it, and nothing ever happened. They were just messages because she is insecure and wants more validation. She said this isn't a healthy way of coping with it and she shouldn't have done it, and that is not the person she wants to be. I have confided in a number of friends and they all said the same thing. She wants the stability of a relationship with me, but at the same time she wants to chase other guy, knowing I would still be at home waiting for her. To me it looks all very wishy-washy and makes no sense. How can she be with me, buy me flowers and gifts, say she loves me and she wants to spend her future with me, but at the same time live a completely different life where she tries to see who takes the bait, even if she doesn't plan to go through with it? She promises she never will do it again because it traumatized her to see me in the state I was in when I found out. But how can I rebuild my trust and not worry she would do it again? Second story. Wife of 16 years, been together for 22 years, told me she was in therapy to decide if she wanted to move forward with divorce. She doesn't believe she will come back to me. I, 41M, don't remember having a panic attack ever before, but when my wife, 41F, broke the news about her therapy, my knees buckled. I couldn't breathe and I began gross open-mouth sobbing. Now any idle moment I start thinking about the possibility of her leaving me, and I spiral into depression. I can't work out enough, meditate, or talk to my therapist enough to get any relief. At moments I feel her love and then she pulls back again. Each time I get my hope up it gets crushed and I can't take it. It's my fault we are in this position. I have been controlling with money, and when we fight about money I become emotionally abusive. I started therapy myself the week she told me the news. I want to make a permanent change, but the reminder of how I treated her in the past causes me to break down again. Then on comes another depression spiral. I'm not sure what to do. It just hits me and I can't stop crying. Crazy places, grocery stores, airports, football game tailgates. I'm holding on to hope that it isn't a little too late, but keeping hope has been exhausting. We have 2 kids under 12 and trying to act composed around them is also so draining. I don't want to add anxiety to my kids. Since it happened 22 days ago, I feel like I haven't had one happy moment. I don't know what to do. Update. At the moment, we are still living together, and no papers have been filled. This sounds like a broken record on this group, but I'm pretty sure she's not physically cheating on me. On the other side, I'm 100% sure she is in love with her boss and in an emotional relationship. So, I have been in therapy since August, and we are starting couples therapy. I'm just not sure now if I want to fight for her love with someone. I'm watching the kids when she travels for work, and she does the same. It just feels weird thinking I'm competing for her love. Update. Is it worth it if she loves someone else? Okay, buckle up, this is kind of a long read. My 41M wife, 41F, told me in August she was seeking counseling to decide if she wanted a divorce. I didn't realize that my controlling behavior had caused her so much harm, and that she wasn't feeling that I loved her in a way that supported her to grow personally, professionally. Backstory on some of my controlling fights that I am deeply sorry for, but she cannot right now forgive AMD. She has brought up several times the past 6 months. You can skip the 1, 2, 3 paragraph if you don't want those details. 1. I yelled at my wife for not want to formula feed our first child. This was after the nurse said we would kill her if we didn't feed her soon. I will never forever myself for this one. 2. Left her and Ubered home at a silent auction after she spent $1,200 on a painting. 3. Got angry in Paris and yelled at her on the streets for spending $400 more than we talked about. We both make 140 plus, and she now has her own accounts, which was an idea of my therapist, as I work on my control issues. We have 2 children, 12 and 8. Even if I felt the same way, I really would try to find a way to make it work. I immediately started counseling and have been going weekly. For these past months, she does not want anything physically or verbally to do with me. She told me the day after Christmas that she had decided to move out. A couple days later, after she started crying one afternoon and said she wouldn't be doing it. So we are now in couples therapy, and I found out she is in love with another man. I still love her so much, but how do I do anything about that? She travels for work 2 to 3 times a week and is joined most of the time with her boss. So she is in love with her boss and it's 100% emotional. She has been talking to him these last 6 months instead of me and fallen in love with him for his support. I love her so much and I didn't realize how backwards my control issues were until I realized she could possibly leave me. I want it to work out so bad, but what are the chances this works out if she loves someone else? Help. I wish I would have been able to see it sooner. She told me once before that when she is out, she's out. Now it may too late because she loves someone else. Is it even worth it to continue couples therapy? Update: my wife just got this text from her boyfriend's wife. The wife filed for divorce and moved out in January. The wife of the man she cheated on me with just found me on the internet. She wanted to hear the other side of the story and sent my soon-to-be ex-wife this text. So wow, and now what do I do with this fantastic wordsmith of a FU letter? The picture she is referencing is her in chemo treatment with a tube in her chest. I guess it probably wasn't too difficult getting a selfish, morally repugnant man to think you were pretty sexy and spectacular while his dying wife looked like this and could hardly get up off the couch or out of bed. Did you think you were the first loose married co-worker he slept with and then professed his love for? You're not. He did this same disgusting shit while I was pregnant with our son, and our daughter was a toddler. Ken likes to nearly destroy me when I am at my very most vulnerable. I forgave his lying, cheating ass since our children were babies, and we worked hard to rebuild our marriage. Apparently, just so he could risk everything and betray and crush me now in the middle of this horrendous battle. I'm not stupid. I simply loved my husband and gave him back all my trust, which he happily used to sneak around with you. He weaponized the trust he didn't even deserve to emotionally torture and mangle me at my weakest and burn our beautiful family to the ground. He became every bit of the deplorable, lying piece of shit man he was years ago. To be with you. He lied about everything right to the very end when he tried to claim it was just a kiss you planted on him, by the way. He said he kissed you back, but you kissed him. I knew it was just more lies, but I want you to know that this man you actually thought loved you, who by the way, does not know what love is, threw you right under the bus. Chivalrous, no? Did you irrevocably damage your life for this self-centered coward of a man? I bet you did. Ken thinks you're so smart, and no doubt you are accomplished, but you're just another fool who fell for his morally corrupt, selfish bullshit. Just another woman who actually believed he loved you and let him say whatever he needed to say to get in your pants. As the two of you looked all your co-workers in the eyes, pretending to be the upstanding people they actually believed you were. I would pity you, but you knew all too well he was another woman's husband as you both discussed your marriages, happily crossing lines into territory you knew was completely inappropriate for co-workers. And you most certainly also knew his wife of 30 years was battling stage 4 cancer, with all I've got. Trying my best not to leave Ken and my kids. It didn't deter you one bit, did it? When he abandoned me and I was sure he was lying, I almost called Griffin to suggest they investigate you both. Man, I wish I had. He was the one risking our investment, his marriage, his family, and even our medical insurance while his wife was right in the middle of chemotherapy. I wish I had, because you both deserved the public shame of your selfish, slutty, unethical decisions. I hope they follow the two of you every day for the rest of your lives. I probably won't be around much longer, but at least I won't have a disloyal, dishonest, morally corrupt man by my side when I die. Too bad for my kids though that the only parent they'll have left is just a lying stranger. As adults they had a front row seat for every pathetic bit of this. I don't owe you or my traitorous husband an ounce of discretion. You both chose this. Third story. Has something happened in the past between my partner and an old work colleague? I really don't know what to make of the situation, so any advice is welcome. I, 38M, and my partner, 37F, have been together for 16 years and have a 3-year-old son together. My partner had a former colleague at work whom she got close to as friends. She used to speak about him from time to time, but just as part of any work story you'd tell your partner. At times she'd point out his flaws, such as he can be so annoying at times or all he does is complain, etc. She has mentioned how exhausting it can be to be around him. Really, I only ever saw him as her work friend. He left that job a number of years ago, but still stayed in touch. Don't know why I found this odd. Maybe because I've never really kept in touch with old colleagues. I think this is what started my suspicions. A few months back, our son was on her phone and then put it down to go play with something else, and I seized the opportunity to go through her messages. The messages I read were quite intense, mainly from his side, confessing how much she means to him, how he loves her and she's the one for him, how hard work was for him when she was on maternity leave, jokingly asking for feet pics, etc. GF would respond probably once for every 10 messages, but nothing concerning, and it definitely seemed one-sided, so I just let it go. More recently, I had my hands on her unlocked phone again, and I just couldn't shake my suspicions. I read many more messages than before, and it definitely read more as though something has had happened between them. More messages from her and saying, "I don't fancy you anymore," implying there was something there before, and I'm not cutting you out of my life. But I'm not ready to talk yet, again indicating something had gone on. Similar themes as before from his end, and it seems as though he's dealing with some issues and at times is rude. Saying things like "you're just a tease," "we're no longer friends," "all you women are the same," etc. I haven't found anything conclusive yet from her side that she did cheat. But there looks to be many more messages which I didn't manage to get to yet, which may or may not confirm my suspicions, so maybe at the next opportunity. I've mentioned my suspicions to my close mates and they think she could never cheat, which I'm inclined to agree with, but I also feel I need some neutral perspective. I'll hope to update this post if I discover more, or maybe I should just let it go. Fourth story. Is my wife cheating on me with her 3 co-workers? So my wife 41M and I 50M have been married for about 20 years on October 1st, 2024. She has been working at her job for about 12 years and a half, and she holds the manager position, has many co-worker friends but nothing like this 2 co-workers. Her co-workers, 32M and 25M, has been hanging out with her a lot recently. They've been taking breaks at work together and have been bonding over having kids and working their shit job together, as she put it. They even been talking about hanging out outside of work with me, of course, and she's talking about how she wants to meet their kid. She seems to be talking about them a lot recently and their relationship came out of nowhere. She even said that herself. But they've been getting really close and I don't know if I'm comfortable with it. She's even offering rides, and we live relatively close. But she hasn't done this any of her other co-workers, and she's talking about them a lot during lunch break. She takes her lunches at home, that they becoming friends with her. They talking about her and telling funny stories about her. I've chalked this up to BPD because she has it, and I understand that people with BPD can have favorite people, but I don't know if I feel comfortable with them being her favorite person. And I don't know if that's the issue or not. They talked about how my physique and how they look so good and how she lovely and caring. Last weekend she go out for the girl night out, and I found she left her phone behind. My guts tell me check her phone. When I open her phone, the message notifications pop up. I see the guy messaged her. I check the previous message. They've been talking for a month. This guy also her co-worker. They talking about meetup filming. Then I check her photo. I saw a bunch of sex tape she doing her co-workers. Totally she doing 3 different persons at the same bed. Before she night out we talking, and she was talking about something that she did, and I asked if she was cheating on me with her coworkers, and she said no and she's not attracted to them. But I also know that involved emotional attraction does really have to come into play at first. It's just about the closeness and the proximity, and the amount of time that you're spending together. I just want to know why she cheating? I don't know because I'm looking at their video, and I don't know if they're talking about things that she shouldn't be talking about with me. Am I insane? I need a different perspective on this because I am not known to be the most level-headed, but I don't want to just come out of nowhere with this.